Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's Billy coming at you today from a little different place. Today I'm actually filming from my condo in beautiful Jupiter, Florida. I figured I was just going to go ahead and take advantage of the break that I had here. The team is on the road for the next couple days. I didn't go today. I stayed back and photographed workouts, the guys that hung back. So I actually had a few extra hours that I don't normally get. So I figured I would take advantage of that. I'll be hitting the road bright and early in the morning, heading all the way over on the other coast, about a 3.5 hour trip. I think we play Boston tomorrow, so wherever that is, I'm not sure if it's in Fort Myers. I think they're in Fort Myers today. Anyway, who knows even when this video will get posted. But I wanted to go through and catch up with some of the things that I had purchased on my trip down here. So as you guys may or may not be aware, I'm a team photographer for the St. Louis Cardinals and come down for spring training every year. And this year I decided to stop and make the most of my trip on the way down and see a couple people, visit a couple shops, and buy a couple records. Well, more than a couple, as you'll see. I spent a lot more time and a little bit more money than I had anticipated spending, but ended up walking away with some great stuff and really cool additions to the collection. So first, I want to thank Melinda Murphy. She was my first stop. I left home, which was basically St. Louis based, St. Louis metro area. Left home. I can't even remember what day I left home. Wednesday or Thursday of last week, maybe a week and a half ago. It's been a long time. I've already been down here a week working, so it's been a week and a half at least. And some days I don't even know what day it is. So anyway, Melinda was the first stop in Kentucky, and Melinda was gracious enough to open up her home. We met, we sat down, we went out, we had dinner. And did a little bit of digging, and it was great. So thank you so much, Melinda, for allowing me to swing by. What a gracious host. We had a great conversation, great dinner at this local barbecue restaurant, barbecue place that they have there in Owensboro, Kentucky. It was really, really nice. So Melinda took me to this little spot, and I have to remember where all this stuff came from. So I kept business cards. I wrote down things. Thankfully, Brad at H2 Vinyl, once I got to his place, which you'll see in another video, he was gracious enough to give me some dividers, record dividers, cardboard dividers, and we wrote things down so I could keep notes as far as where all this stuff came from, because I just acquired so much stuff. But this first stop that we had with Melinda was a place in her hometown. It is called TD's Tough Decisions. And when I say TD's is a very unique store, I don't say that lightly. It was a very cool place, and I'm so glad that Melinda took me there. For the faint of heart, or if you're gosh, well, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. Anyway, if you're not into adult novelties and things of that sort, you probably shouldn't go in there. But it was great. The record store apparently was owned by a guy who had a record store years ago, many years ago, and had gotten into the novelty business. Party favors, lingerie. And adult novelties and those things. Apparently that's a better market than the vinyl market these days, but maybe not these days, but who knows it. There's always, what do they say, sex sells, so that's maybe that was his business plan. But either way, I guess Melinda was telling me that he had some kids coming in. Now, when I say kids, I'm talking teenagers coming through, and he noticed they were coming in, leaving, not buying anything, just coming in, leaving, and finally one day he asked what was up, and apparently one of them, or a group of them, said, "Hey, our dad said you used to sell records here." He was like, "Yeah, I used to sell records," and apparently he had all of his records upstairs still stored away. and just decided to bring them down. And lo and behold, they started selling like hotcakes. And that's how the TDs, tough decisions, and more came about, I guess. So anyway, it was a great little shop. He actually had some really, really unique inventory. And Melinda was really worried that I wouldn't be able to find anything there, because it is a small town, small shop. Um, according to Melinda, she likes to get away and go to either Louisville or Nashville and really do her digging. But this was all we had, and it worked out great. It was a really good dig. So let's jump right in here after I've already rambled on for 5 or 6 minutes. Picked up this Wet Willie self-titled. I always loved the artwork on this, and love some Wet Willie. I did not have this. Matter of fact, I believe Dylan over at Noble Records just bought the collection from the guy who did this artwork. He actually has had his collection. Was able to pick that up and acquire some really killer artwork as well. So love that. Really nice, nice clean copy of that. There's the gatefold. You guys know, if you watch my videos, you know I've turned into a huge Bruce Springsteen fan, and this is Born to Run. I always look for the misspelling of the credits of the producer for John Landau. It's properly spelled Jon. The early first pressings, the initial first pressings misspelled his name John. That's the standard pressing. But I found this one and stumbled upon this one, which I never really had seen before. So I'm looking for the misspelling, and it's actually spelled properly, but there's actually a sticker over it. So what this is, I don't know if you guys can see that. See the sticker there. What that is it's a first pressing that underneath that sticker it would be spelled John. Well, I guess they before they corrected the covers, they slapped these stickers over a handful, and those got out. So they're actually probably the rarest of the three, I think, when it comes down to it. I do have a first pressing that Bill Helmet Diggy sent me, but I'm always looking for it. And this one was so clean. So glad to have that. So now I have that variation in the collection. Stoked to have that. Here's one that's been in my want list forever. I'm sure you guys have these records that are not expensive whatsoever, but they always just tend to hang out in your want list. This has been in my want list for 5 or 6 years, maybe longer. David Lee Roth EP, Crazy from the Heat. This is a sealed copy. It won't be sealed for long. I'm just gonna cut it here because I'm gonna leave it in the shrink because I love that hype sticker on there. Really, really cool. It's just one of those that, like I said, it's been in my want list forever. And, there's just other things. It's not an expensive album, really, It was $10, something like that. But glad to finally mark that off the list. Mark another one off the list. This is Lynyrd Skynyrd, One More from the Road. This is their live LP from, I believe, 76. 1976. Show the gatefold here. This actually completes my Skynyrd OG collection here. This was, I should say, before I went through and purged a lot this last summer. I had an OG of this, but it was not up to my standards as far as keeping stuff in the collection. And this one was a really nice, the vinyl is just beautiful on the inside. VG plus on the cover or better all the way around, and the vinyl's excellent or better. Really, really nice copy. Glad to have that. Picked up some Nuge Penetrator. This is one that, at least in my area in St. Louis, you don't see that often. What's crazy is coming down through Kentucky and Atlanta and even Orlando. I found some Ted Nugent that I did not have in my collection, so you'll see more of that stuff in maybe either later not later in this video. I don't think there's any more Nugent, but definitely in upcoming videos. But picked up this one to add to the collection. Love, love, love me some Nuge. Uncle Ted. This is really cool. Jim Croce, Life and Times. Of course, whenever you stumble upon this, at first you're just like, oh, that's just a normal Life and Times, until you look closer and you can see it is I think it's a Taiwanese pressing. It just needs cleaned here, so it's on the Union, blue Union label. Looks like it's really, really nice. I can't wait to get home and actually clean this up and give it a spin, because you just never know when you buy these type of copies. I don't know if they're I'm assuming they're unauthorized, but they're able to be sold on Discogs. So really, really nice to add that one for the collection. It was like 12 bucks, so I wasn't going to just leave it there. I figure even if it does sound bad, it's a really cool collector's item. Getting into some country here, a really beautiful copy of Buck Owens and the Buckaroos, My Heart Skips a Beat and Together Again, a couple really great songs from Buck and the guys. My Heart Skips a Beat, Close Up the Honky Tonks, really, really great. Truck Driving Man, I love that song. Together Again, just a beautiful, beautiful song. Ain't That Amazing Gracie, Hello Trouble. Just another beautiful piece of vinyl here. It doesn't look like it's ever been played on that Capitol Rainbow label. Always glad to add nice, clean country, nice, clean Buck. Sticking with country here, some Jerry Jeff Walker. I've been really trying to beef up my singer-songwriter, Texas country type stuff, and Jerry Jeff, Joe Ely, Rodney Crowell, all those guys. I've really been trying to pick up a lot of their stuff that I didn't have, and this is a gold stamp promo there, and this is Jerry Jeff's Too Old to Change. I think it's just a gold stamp. No, it's actually a white label promo as well, so glad to have that one. And this was dirt cheap. Really, really glad to pick that one up. I know Zach will love seeing that, as well as a couple other of you all that dig that kind of stuff. Again, I mentioned Rodney Crowell earlier. He's another one of those guys that I'm trying to finish out their discography, and this is just a self-titled, I believe. I did not have this one. I thought I had all the early Rodney Crowell stuff, but this is one. It was so cheap. I don't think I recognized anything that was on it. Just a phenomenal songwriter, but yeah, I don't recall any real singles on this one. This is from, what year is this? 1981, and as you can see, I paid $1.99 for this, and there was a sticker on there, and whenever the guy peeled it off, this was left. Now I don't know if that was underneath of it, and because sometimes stores will actually put stickers over the top of damage, but the guy peeled all the stickers off at the place, and this was the only one that had any damage to it. So for $1.99, I wasn't gonna really complain at all. I was just like, whatever. It's a not an expensive record anyway. Glad to add that to the collection. So that was everything I got at TD's Tough Decisions in Owensboro, and then Melinda and I went back to her place. Actually, I think we went out and ate, then went back to her place, sat down and just talked for a couple hours. It was really, really nice getting to hang with you, Melinda. Thank you so much for your kindness, your generosity, your hospitality. It was really, really great to actually finally meet you in person. If you guys ever get a chance and you're coming through the Midwest, I would encourage you, to reach out to myself, maybe reach out to, there's a ton of people in the Midwest. If you're coming through on a trip, definitely reach out, because there's a lot of great people in the VC. So after that, I ended up heading through Kentucky, down to Nashville. But on my way, I was going to go my normal route, but I actually went through Bowling Green because there's a little place there called Mellow Matt's Music and More. And Mellow Matt's had taken care of me about 3 years ago, I guess, on Record Store Day when the Waylon Jennings Record Store Day regional release. I think there was only 250 or 500 of these LPs pressed, and they ended up actually, nobody around had them. I wasn't able to get any. Steve didn't get any down in Atlanta. There weren't any in California. So I found this on a Discogs site, and it was like $21.95, and I was like, man, so I bought it. I messaged them, asked them if they had any more because I knew I wanted to get one for Steve, Harmless Rebel. And they said, yeah, as a matter of fact, we have 2 more. I said, would you mind if I grab those other 2? Because I know Brian Keithley, I don't know if Brian's still making videos or not. I haven't seen or heard anything from Brian in quite some time. But I knew Brian, that was really high on his list as well. So I picked up those, sent one to Brian, sent one to Steve, and I kept one. So they took great care of me, and I remember that. So I wanted to stop by, thank them for that, and check out the shop. Really cool shop. Mellow Matt's Music in Bowling Green, Kentucky is one of those shops that everybody wishes you had in your hometown. It's not a big shop by any stretch of the imagination, fairly small, but man, they make great use of their space. No junk, it's like no filler, all killer. It's really, really good stuff in there. And the owner and the other guy that were working in there were just fantastic. You couldn't ask for 2 nicer guys. So let's jump right in with some oddball stuff that I found right off the bat. I seen a box, and they had some 8 tracks in there, and found a couple club cartridges from the 80s. This is from 1983, Columbia House. This is Adam Ant Strip. These are really getting harder and harder to find, those 80s, those mid 80s club cartridges. Here's another Columbia House club cartridge. This is from 1984, Go-Go's Talk Show. Of course, this has Head Over Heels. That was the big hit on that one. And then lastly, I just picked this one up. Jethro Tull, don't even know what it is. Songs from the Wood. I picked it up because I can't pass up a nice, clean, lime green cart, because that will probably more than likely end up being a Metallica and Justice for All when all is said and done. Who knows? So I picked those up. Those were, I believe he actually threw those in, if you want to know the truth about it. Up on the wall. Something you do not see, or at least I don't see that often. A little bit of ring wear on the front, but once you see what it is, it really doesn't bother me whatsoever. This is a Black Sabbath Paranoid Quadradisc. Quad, 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 quad. There's the inner gatefold, really nice. Back, like I said, aside from a little bit of ring wear, the thing is beautiful. The disc is super clean. Pull it out here and show you. It's on the Warner Brothers palm tree logo, label, whatever we want to say there. There you go, get that glare off it, perfect. Yeah, really, really clean, and you never see these quads. So they actually had this on the wall, and a really, really nice copy. I'm talking excellent to near mint copy, quad copy of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. It was a little bit more than I wanted to spend, so I left it there. I'm probably eventually going to see if it's still there. Maybe when I get back home, I'll give them a shout. Maybe I can have them mail it to me. But right now, I just stuck with this, and I'm happy that I picked that one up. Some more Jerry Jeff Walker. This is Jerry Jeff's Collectibles, or Walker's Collectibles. Another one to add to the Jerry Jeff collection. It's on the MCA label, I believe. Just your standard, that old 80s. What, 81 was this came out? No, oh, this is 74. Geez, really missed the mark on that one. But from 74, Walker's Collectibles, Jerry Jeff Walker. And then the last single LP that I ended up getting at Mellow Matt's was Huey Lewis of the News. This is Small World. from 1988, I think. Yes, 1988. Small little delete notch here, but in really, really good condition. The reason I picked this one up is this is a German pressing, and it was $3. And I thought, you know, it's not perfect, but for $3, a German pressing of Huey Lewis' Small World, I'm gonna pop on that. And so glad I did. Lastly, the last thing I bought there at Mellow Matt's, and I really wasn't anticipating it, but I saw it in the case. I remember when this came out a few years ago on Record Store Day. It was something I really wanted, but the price point just kept me away. You know, when you're talking $300 for something on Record Store Day, it's just, you know, that's an awful lot of money for any day, let alone Record Store Day, when you're already dropping a couple $100 usually. But he had already a decent price on it, and we were able to negotiate an even better price, so I just could not leave it there. So what I'm talking about here is the Johnny Cash Unearthed box set. This is a 9 or 10 LP box set. Has a real nice coffee table book. I'll show you guys real quickly. Oh, it's a monster. A really nice coffee table book on the inside, as well as a bound booklet. There's your insert that comes with it. Here's the coffee table book. And this basically documents the American sessions with Rick Rubin. It's essentially alternate takes, more unreleased tracks from the American sessions, and as well as each song. I think they go through, and Johnny posts a little blurb about from what he can remember about the session. Really nice photos in here as well. I won't go through all of it with you. I do want to show you the the binding on the albums. They're sleeved in like a 78 book. It's really, really nice, thick cardboard, heavy duty, durable, really nice bound book. Like I said, there's 9 or 10 LPs. What you end up with are I think you have each disc from the sessions, the American sessions, and then you have one disc that is I think it's called Mother's Hymn Book or Mama's Hymn Book. It's gospel, inspirational songs from the Cash and Rubin sessions, and then the last one or the last two, I can't remember, are the best of the American sessions. So you get, you know, your best of, essentially your greatest hits, and those I believe are the standard takes from those, you know, the ones that are on the regular album. So guys, we're at 20 minutes. That is my trip from Kentucky. That's the Kentucky trip. Stay tuned. When I get time, I'm gonna post my findings from Atlanta. So after I left Kentucky, after I left Melinda and head down to Mellow Matt's in Bowling Green, I jetted down to Atlanta and hung out with our brother Steve, Harmless Rebel. So guys, as always, thank you. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the love, all the posts, all the comments, all the support. You guys are great. As always, until next time, take care, guys. Peace.